Um, what pedagogical approaches using technologies and learning innovations do you think will be applied in future generations to students in teaching?
Sure. Now, when we talk about pedagogical innovations, or rather bringing in technology, the very first thing that comes to my mind is, and we all know that we are from different specializations. For example, in a university, you may be from School of Law, School of Medicine, Center of Language, for example, School of Business. So the way and the subject matter may differ. Now, so that means you must be able to understand what is effective for you and try to bring in the technology to assist your pedagogical aspect instead of putting the technology at the front. So it means specifically, we must be able to understand the pedagogical design first and what then help. Let me give you specific examples from my experience. I'm from School of Business. So one of the very important things is about the ability of students to think beyond knowledge, developing their skill set and competency. So in that specific aspect, I have used flipped classroom as one of the pedagogical aspects, one of the many pedagogical aspects. And then when they come to the class, I tend to look around and see what technology intervention or innovations out there in the market is appropriate, such that what is my goal? For example, I want them to make sure they interact collaboratively in class, intergroup, intra-group, for example, and peer review. So there are many out there, applications out there, technological apps, for example. But the point is that what are you trying to achieve in the class? For example, you want to do a peer review. So what are the apps out there that assist to make sure that it contextualizes to what you are teaching, if it is not 100% close to what you're doing? Now, if we go in that direction, and I think leveraging on those technological aspects kind of makes sense.
And how does that compare to the traditional classroom?
Right. So in a traditional classroom, for example, we go in there, and obviously as educators, we would like to transfer as much knowledge as possible to our students. With that enthusiasm and passion, sometimes we don't understand, we probably be overwhelmed of giving them too much of information of what we want to give them. So comparatively to blended classroom, for example, and flipped classroom, for example, these are two of the many pedagogical aspects, where if we are able to move the contents outside the classroom, so they learn outside the classroom, the contents, the necessities, and they bring in questions while going through online learning, reflection journals, and they bring in questions in the class. So what do you do in the class? You actually address their questions, recap their concepts, have dialogues with them. I think the value add is really about the 3 hours or 4 hours that you have with the students. How are you able to make them think, number one? How are you able to make them resonate and ask questions, number two? How are you able to make them collaborate among themselves so that they actually have different perspectives before there's a class discussion? So the difference, coming back to your question, is that